support, got a plan. Every time, use the smoke from the spider. Pew, 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 killing noobs within Beastwood. Charges building all up in my striders. We can't lose, killing Congo as a team at level 111. Cause of guns and feeble and the armor. Diva from Andromeda, making my way to the lane in time.
A lot of dudes cry when they die, but we're not on their side. Bombardier blowing them up like it's the 4th of July. We pick healers all day, every day, it's just how we survive. I just cannot seem to die, believe me dude, I have tried. From my ult I get full life, if you're low I'll cauterize. Some people call me a curse, but the nuke's just running high. So I rise with a shiver in the sky. In my back, always turn to the Ragers.
We kill the Swifted, by one's aside. And we'll take Congors, token alive. They try to gank us, we turn the tides. Because of Kraken, token alive.
Sunday to Saturday, Luke's getting mad at me because I'm picking flux and messing with their gravity. Sunday to Saturday, Luke's getting mad at me because I'm picking flux and messing with their gravity. Hey teammates, I'm sorry if I kept you waiting. I was just on a damn beer raid vacation. Got Polywog mid with his ward slaying. My team and I level high, even heaven's hating. Switching lasers facing, we've been getting hasted. Triple with his passive slow, mounts I need created. Ragers must be feeling mad, they keep getting baited. Anti-wars are placed and the vision has faded. The vision has faded.
We kill the Swifted, by one's aside. And we'll take Congors, token alive. They try to gank us, we turn the tides. Because of Kraken, token alive.
Sunday to Saturday, Luke's getting mad at me because I'm picking flux and messing with their gravity. Sunday to Saturday, Luke's getting mad at me because I'm picking flux and messing with their gravity.
Pick up an ally, throw that teammate up in the sky. And if you wanna kill still me, that's cool. Might as well just throw you up there too. But we can still get pesty, use fly and impale them so they die. Cause we level up so we can tear them down. Go Panda.
Don't fuck around, don't fuck around, don't fuck around, don't fuck around, don't fuck around. Now we're gonna change his dick boots.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays
I'm stomping on the fuzz with feet again. Dominating every lane with my friends. Swiftly curling, run with fear. Magic immune like oh my dare. Bold and ready, my crits are clear. Decapitate with legionnaire. Juking the trees and I'm heading right back. Bottle chalice charges, yeah. Owning kids is just my business. Killing kids, my skills ridiculous. Zone out takes all attention. Scream out, let me kill this kid. They watching, I know this. Creep blocking, I'm phoning. I got this, game over, you know it.
You know I know how to open chronosphere as you rage out. This pup can't even handle me right now. QQ, you blame your team as they lag out. This pup can't even handle me right now. This pup can't even handle me right now.
Trying to make me lose. Thunder blasting, your kills are stored. Chain lightning is all I do. Laning against Scout and Android. Double tap, you can't stop me, bro. Go hard, I'm the show. Pull creep, still I can't creep no more.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the stream. Welcome those who are tuning into the Twitch channel as well as in Discord. We definitely got a good amount of audience in both here. So excited to be here. Hopefully you're having a good Friday as we get into the weekend. Looking forward to playing some Han, just enjoying doing some gaming, having a good time. And yeah, here we are. We are officially doing our first episode here of what we're calling the Reborn Roundtable. Clever name, I know. The Reborn Roundtable, basically a dev update. Essentially, what these streams are going to be are updates. I mean, hey, to the point. Where this is just another part of our efforts to really try to do our best to be as transparent as possible with you guys. Talk about what we're working on, what we did work on, things that just recently came out. You know, give you some of our personal insight, why changes were made, updates were made, etc. And also what we have looking forward, including some sneak peeks, which we definitely got a couple of those today. So looking forward to kicking off not only today, but also future episodes of this as time goes on. But for this episode, it's going to be a two-man show. Maybe joined by a third later on, we'll see. Might be running a little bit late, but we'll see. But at least for now, the two of us. I'm, of course, Breaky CPK, and I'm going to be joined by Kawhi. Kawhi, how you doing, man?
Hey everyone, I'm doing great.
All right. Fantastic. Good Friday? Looking forward to the weekend?
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
go.
Amazing Friday. Great stuff happening in the dev team. Really excited to show you guys what's coming up. Some really exciting announcements scheduled for a week or two in the future as well. But everything we're gonna cover today will for sure excite the community as well.
That's the hope, and definitely what we're going for there. All right, so with that said, we can pretty much jump right into it. Now, obviously, as part of this, too, we do intend to have it, at least a bit of it be a question and answer for later on in the stream. But with that said, initially, we got, some things that we're going to talk about, go through, and then the later part will be our Q&A segment. So if you do have questions, feel free to ask them throughout. We do have, obviously, both the Twitch and the Discord streams essentially going on here. I will also say... you know what? No. Okay, I'll do my best. I'll actually share my camera here as well because there's stuff that I'm going to be showing and going over, obviously, on the stream. But I'll share my screen is here as well when appropriate, so you guys in Discord don't need to necessarily tune into the stream to see it. But with that said, let's kick it off with talking about the patch that came out earlier this week. Of course, Kawhi, 0.9.0. Of course, a big part of it was ranked Midwars. Let me throw that up right here. Let me share. Going over. Nope, don't want that. Why can I show my screen, actually? Oh, there we go. All right, so here we go. Of course, these are the patch notes. Obviously, you all have access to them on heroesandword.com. You can check it out. But ranked mid-war is definitely a big highlight of this patch. I mean, I'll say this off the bat. Personally, this is something that I was actually looking forward to. This also is a bit of a reaction, you could say, to the community and especially the Midwars community. You've made it very clear. The majority really feel like they wanted at least a competitive option. And right now, that's what they get as far as ranked Midwars coming in. There will be unranked to come later on as well, so then you will have the both options there. But, of course, ranked Midwar is now officially in. MMR is now affected. Ultimate goal, of course, to even provide more balanced matches as time goes on. But I'll let you, Kawhi, give it a little bit more insight into that.
Of course, we're continuously monitoring stuff like this. I think we made a little bit of the wrong read. We thought that the Midwars community was a little bit more into the whole just join up and have fun. And as we saw, people treat it very seriously and play it religiously. We also saw a lot of data as a result of turning it unranked that was the balance of the matches were not very good. Mm-hmm. And this is something that now that ranked is live, that we're gonna continue to optimize. Some of the changes that are coming up in the next few weeks is us tweaking the Midwars and the Forest of Kaldawar MMR algorithms to improve the match balance. This is a critical, very, very important part of the experience of playing the game. We know that there's tons of people out there, high-rated players, low-rated players that feel unhappy about the disparity of the matches, and also just feel like sometimes they aren't assigned the correct roles and some other things.
Yeah.
So this is a focus for us at the moment. We have some updates that we're willing to share soon, but this is a work in progress, and we're never really going to be done with the matchmaking algorithm. This is a continuous area of improvement. And of course, the community is a big voice on helping us understand where we are. Is it good? Is it bad? In what ways is it bad? I'm getting too many support roles when I'm queuing for carry. I'm getting high rated players when I'm lower. I don't want to play these matches. So you guys speak up, and it's been very important for us to receive that feedback, and it's not always easy to act on it quickly, but we're working on it right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff obviously to get to work, and that's why we also made a point again, like I said, especially part of these efforts to communicate and make the understanding heard as far as not only are we hearing you guys, but what we are specifically working on in the moment. And then, of course, it gives you an idea of as far as what may be coming up sooner or later. But know that, yeah, as you just put it right there, it's certainly on your mind and definitely something that we want to get to, an ever-evolving process. Ranked Midwars, another thing, kind of, from a personal standpoint, like I said, I definitely find myself playing Midwars quite a bit. And I will say, I mean, this, and I know, several others, of course, that consider themselves Midwars players. It's just that idea that it now has that competitive feel to it. Going in, there's a little bit more on the line, and the quote-unquote try-hard comes out a bit more as a result. So I found myself, I've played like 30 matches over the last 3 days, actually, of Midwars, and been having a good time with it. I will say, though, again, just like a lot of these things, it also is something it's going to be felt a little bit better over time. This isn't something that goes, and I think you were kind of hinting on that too, or touching on that. With a change like this, and especially to matchmaking and MMR, whatever, it needs time to build upon itself to eventually get to a solid flow with it. So obviously where I'm getting at, yes, the ultimate goal is to help make for more balanced matches, etc. But in these earlier days, weeks, etc., that's not necessarily going to be happening until it is a bit more fleshed out with the community playing their matches, getting their MMR appropriate, and going from there. So, but even knowing that, again, I feel like from my experience, and I hope others are certainly feeling the same. I would hope so. That just putting this in has definitely upped the quality of the matches when it comes to Midwars, actually. So. Excited for more to come on that. But yeah, actually, another thing I wanted to say on that was this is also kind of in a sense, almost like the beginning of Midwar updates to come as well. We actually did hire somebody more recently to put it out there. Duck goes by the name Duck. His big focus is Midwars design, Midwars gameplay updates for Midwars specifically. So expect, a bit more behind the scenes as far as development goes in terms of figuring out what may need to be adjusted for Midwars and ultimately improvements coming in as a result. We definitely got some on the way as well, but getting Midwars MMR in initially was a big part of that. And then one more comment I want to make on it before we maybe move on is I see people talking about, why care about Midwars? Not enough people play. Again, the numbers suggest differently. Data is there, and it's important to look at. What is it? Close to 40% of our matches, I believe, are Mid-Wars matches, and that was before we even did this ranked Mid-Wars edition here. So Mid-Wars, I think, deceptively is actually a lot more popular than people give it credit for within the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. I think Midwars historically for Han has actually always been big on the old live client, and it is an area that we have to put some effort and focus on. I think the people that are wondering these things, I've seen similar comments related to other features in the game. I think it's important, exactly what you reiterated before, which is we hired new talent to work exclusively on this, on Midwars design and Midwars balance. This is not siphoning resources away from the updates that we intend to apply to Kaldavar and to the rest of the game. But it is an important part of bringing more players into the game. Midwars is significantly easier to get used to when you're new to the game. That's something that we're going to be discussing very soon. And it's just a fun casual mode. If your friends are maybe out of your Kaldavar rank, you can queue up Midwars with them. I have a friend who sometimes he only has 20 minutes, and he's like, I don't have time to play, but we could jump into a Midwars game, and,
Right.
that's plenty of fun too. You just get to hang out with your buddies and
Yeah.
play a game. It doesn't have to be all that polarizing that I only play Caliber. Sometimes you just have 15 minutes and you can play a shorter match.
Yeah, and unranked is coming for both, as we stressed earlier. So I see even people bringing up, well, now I want to play a more casual vibe. Again, we get that. There's certainly a player base for that. Unranked is coming as well for Midwars and for Scaldabar for that matter. So know that is coming in the future. A couple other highlights of this latest patch that came out earlier this week. To stress, and I think this, from a technical standpoint, may not be the sexiest thing here, but as far as again a technical side, this was important for the game. Stability is always going to be one of the, if not the highest priority for us in terms of the game crashes, lag issues, etc. This latest patch actually we had here fixed the 10 most frequent client crashes, fixed the 5 most frequent server crashes. So there's definitely a lot of work that's been done behind the scenes, and hopefully, again, and ideally that has been felt for those that maybe were having said issues before. It's got at least gotten better, and again, going to continue to improve over time there.
Yeah, we have built out some good monitoring tools for this stuff, and we're getting logs. And in this case, I mean, we had so many things backlogged that needed to be worked on by operations and stability. And there's actually another change that is not mentioned in this patch note that was deployed yesterday, and we're working continuously on this operation stability connectivity stuff. We know in Thailand specifically, and also in most of Southeast Asia, all around. I have some people from Korea and other countries. They're having significant problems with the game a couple times a day, where connections are dropped, they get kicked out of lobbies, they get penalty points applied. Very often not their fault, and it's to do with the way that our infrastructure and our backend is set up. We deployed changes to that, and we're now monitoring those changes. They look good and stable, and our next step is to start to deploy more servers in those regions to be able to account for that load. But all of that took up so much work out of the people that normally would deal with all of this stuff, the server crashes, the client crashes, that we kind of got behind on this a little bit, and they started to develop a little bit too much. And then I know we saw a huge influx of complaints in general chat, and we had some hero of a developer Unborn that just went in and decided that I'm just gonna tackle this because I'm annoyed. And he just put in a ton of effort into fixing all of these most common crashes, and we got it in this patch, which is great. And we have a couple more crash and server crash related fixes and more diagnostics making it into 9.1, which is going to be even better yet. I think right now we're down to only a couple of server crashes per hour, and that sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of matches being played as well. So we were up at over 100 server crashes per hour before, and now we're down to only a couple.
That's awesome. Yeah. Again, definitely, and always, like I said, always evolving, continuing evolving there when it comes to that as well. Stability and whatnot. You mentioned 9.1, so 0.9.1 right there. I think that's actually a pretty good transition. Well played. Obviously, that's the what would be the next patch in line. Do we have? I guess before we talk too much about what may be coming in that patch. You know what? Let's just do this. Overthinking it. 1 second. I'm gonna stop streaming on Discord for a second. Let me set something up right here.
Yeah, I know there are tons of people here that are wondering, are we going to share updates on the future? Is there going to be a preview for the upcoming patch? What's happening with the heroes? When are you guys adding more heroes? All of that stuff is coming. You're going to hear some stuff for the short term now, things that are coming in this very next patch, and some plans in the next few weeks, and also long-term goals for us. Yeah, there we go. The little teaser. What hero is coming out? What is this?
For those that are watching the
red and the
stream,
blue.
yeah, you maybe saw on socials. It's been fun seeing people kind of guess what this is hinting at. The red and the blue. Say in chat right now. I'm actually curious. Feel free to say in chat what you think that this is getting at as far as this hint right here. because I'll say this: the answer is going to be given here in just a second. There's a lot of good guesses. I love it. Death animations, that's a good one. No, it's not that. I could say it's not that. Oh, yeah, twitch.tv/Han Reborn for those that are in Discord. You can check it out there. I know I'm not sharing again. I'm purposefully. I'm going back and forth. I'm doing stuff on my monitor, so I'll share again once appropriate. So yeah. All right, give me a second. Here we go. Without further ado, welcome to a. I almost spotted there a little bit too early. All right, here we go. Next patch. Here we go. On Reborn Hero Spotlight, featuring Master of Arms. This utility-wielding, agility-ranged carry will bring powerful tools to the battlefield, enabling himself and his teammates to succeed.
There's no audio, by the way.
Master of Arms' first ability is Overcharged Shot. Target an enemy to fire out a lightning bolt that stuns the selected target and splits into 2 bolts beyond, damaging and slowing others it hits. Master of Arms' second ability is Acid Bomb. Target a location to throw acid onto the ground, dealing damage over time, slows enemies within, as well as reduces their armor. Master of Arms' third ability is Bulldozer and Cheetah. Master of Arms can swap between these 2 guns at any time. Bulldozer provides range and damage to auto attacks, while Cheetah reduces your damage, however, increases your attack speed greatly. Master of Arms' ultimate is Master's Call. Target yourself or an ally hero to apply a shield that absorbs damage. While active, MOA will also be granted his own buff of increased attack speed with Cheetah and increased damage with Bulldozer. Master of Arms is now available in Han Reborn, and we are excited to see him played in game. Okay, except for that, now over to heroesandnewer.com and sign up for free to get in on the action. I forgot I said that at the end. I just wanted to show that here on this stream. Okay, it's not now available. That was a lie. I lied. It will be available, though, in the patch that is to come very, very soon, 9.1. So, yes, Master of Arms was the hero that that hint was getting towards, and of course the next hero in line right here. So there you go, insight into the next hero to come. And naturally, I already see people bringing up, when is this hero going to come out? When are more heroes going to come out? What I will say, and definitely Kawhi, you can expand on this more as well. With 9.1 coming out here in the very near future. 0.9 or 9.0 coming out early this week. We definitely have a game plan internally as far as our patching process to ramp it up a bit. I think is a good way to say it. Not only with features, bug fixes, etc. A little bit more consistency with patches coming out, not waiting for one big patch to take place that we have done in recent months. Instead, a bit more, like I said, ramping up to happen. And again, that with that said, 9.1 going to be coming out sooner than later here. But also the heroes. Heroes definitely something we are also ideally going to be ramping up a little bit over time, with more and more to come in the coming months. So, but yeah, Master of Arms going to be coming very soon here, Kawhi.
I think like we read all your feedback. People post all around the place on Facebook, in the Discord, in general chat. I saw someone yesterday like asking, do the devs even read this chat? We're around. We see a lot of messages. We can't reply to everything. Sometimes it's not even useful to reply to everything. But I do know that there is a general consensus among the entire community to just release more heroes faster. It is, I think, one of the bigger complaints with how Reborn is played, that there's just so many heroes missing from the original Han that are loved and missed. So I do actually want to just share that we do have an intent to increase the output of legacy heroes released back into the game to approximately about 2 per month going forward in the near future. And then once we reach a particular threshold of heroes that we're comfortable with, we might slow that down a little bit. And I also know some people were commenting, this shit ain't new, it's just an old hero. And yes, it is an old hero, but it is a hero that people miss. There's a lot of heroes that people miss in the game that are not present in this game right now, and they do need a little bit of a remaster. We're gonna keep releasing those heroes. We're gonna keep that output up, but there are also new heroes in the work, and those will be released at a much slower pace. But when they're ready to come out, they'll make it into a patch together with some interesting updates that you guys will hopefully see coming up in the future.
There you go. So there is more to 9.1 as well that we want to go over right here. A couple other teasers as far as what is going to be coming with it. Something a little more quality of life, something that has been talked about as far as voice chat goes, and something as simple as like the UI for voice chat, and not being able to see who's talking, maybe, or expecting it in a certain spot and it not being there. So here is, preview of that actually. Of what you can expect. Again, this is just a video we created beforehand, but to give you an idea, it's going to be that top right corner of this, when somebody is talking, in this case, Angry Testy, all the talking he currently does in game, of course, going to be, it would pop up here in the top right. So a notification makes it a bit more obvious as far as who is actually communicating or attempted to communicate with you. So something else that'll be coming out in the 9.1 patch. Again, quality of life stuff like this, it's just always important to have and ever evolve on. And it goes back to just feedback certainly being heard on it.
Yep. Very, very nice, clean visual polish.
There you go. All right, so, and then I guess another thing that to talk about when it comes to the patch, there are some, another thing that people, of course, understandably have been requesting too. It's been a little bit since maybe we've had a balance patch, some balance design changes within the game. And 9.1 not only bringing a new hero with Master of Arms, but there will definitely be some balance changes as well. I had a little fun about a half an hour, or actually about an hour ago or so now in the Discord, linking a screenshot of some hints to what may be coming with some upcoming balance changes. Well, here's going to be some actual answers to what is coming with these balance changes. So going over, so this is just some of several that's going to be in the patch, by the way. This is just a select few, just to give a taste of what's to come. And with that said, Rajix may be joining us here shortly. He did have something come up. Might not be able to join us until later on, if at all. But here you go. A couple of changes, starting with Dawnbringer at the top right there. It is getting a buff. All the stats increased 60 to 20. Damage increased from 12 to 15. Attack speed increased as well. So all those stats being increased, as well as even movement speed. And then searing damage also increased. So yeah, it's safe to say damage, or more so Dawnbringer, getting a buff across the board. It's just always been a well-rounded item, and want to see it maybe being picked up, or more of an option over time. For heroes to be picking up here. So, Kawhi, feel free if there's any further insight you want to give. I'll pause here and then move on to the next one.
It's a quite sizable balance change, Yeah. I mean, I do think maybe the text document is a little bit misleading. This is a big balance change. It is a proper big balance change. This is meant to upset the meta quite a bit. And yeah, I'm interested to see how the meta will evolve, what will happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play a lot. I think I'm quite tired of the current meta personally, so I'm happy with the balance change finally make it into the game.
Yeah, there you go. I made it bigger for you guys. I realized it maybe was a little bit tiny there, so hopefully you can read it a little easier now. What do we got here? Flame Belcher, of course, a newer item introduced. Getting quite a big buff as well. An item, frankly, I mean, I don't really see this item. I can't even recall the last time I've seen this item. So, understandably, an item that's getting a buff here. The recipe cost being decreased. Cooldown decreased significantly, 30 to 20 seconds. And then also what happens between melee and range. The range is the same, but melee now actually pulls enemies to you, where range would, pop people away from you, push them back. So, definitely that's going to be a fun option to see perhaps on a certain utility-like heroes, initiators especially. Could see it a powerful tool for them. So, Devour.
Yeah, will be really good and amazing against those ranged heroes in the back. You're trying to catch that Flynn standing in the back. You can now pull him closer. For heroes like Pestilence, it is really useful because you can grab them in and then stun them. Very, very nice mechanic.
Devour, of course, he's getting a buff right here, and this has been from my understanding, a very high in demand one. A lot of, especially Devo players, have been requesting such a change where the cast range actually going to be increased, specifically at the earlier level. The early level 1 is the most noticeable for sure, 850 to 925 right there. But at level 2 and 3, also getting a slight buff, and then level 4 being the same. So yeah, Devo, good old Devo, for good or for bad, getting his buffs as well. In the upcoming patch. Pestilence, his bash, or gore, or what is it called? Anyways, his passive attack right there. If off cooldown, he'll now actually launch the corpse of the creep when he kills it, and it deals physical damage and stuns the enemy if it hits. So it's a kind of clever lane mechanic there, especially for setting up stuns and initiations. Gives him a little bit more of a powerful damage tool to assist with. So sorry, switch right here.
Really fun mechanic to play around with overall. Just and it's not just for laning. I mean, you can use this in very, very many different ways, but also like just walking up until a creep wave in mid, in the mid game, and you hit the creep, you manage to stun someone, and then there you go, blink in, stun. Like it's a very good initiation tool. It also helps gap heroes before you get your blink is essentially the mechanic that's intended here. Pesti is very, very reliant on getting that portal key, and it's very difficult if you're behind to play the hero without it. So this allows you to initiate anyways, and it's just a very good laning tool, of course.
Yeah. And the last one we have on this list right here is good old Sandwraith. This is one of the more hot topic heroes for sure when it comes to balance talk. And wanting to know what was maybe going to be done, expecting some nerfs perhaps. Well, certainly getting one right here with it is now switching to enemies as blocked by Nullstone. So you could still use the ultimate and an illusion will spawn. However, you will not be able to swap to the illusion anymore if the Nullstone blocks it, essentially. So, obviously there was that change to Nullstone that took place for, understandable reason, but it did allow Samurai to be a even more powerful hero. And this ideally will tone him down a little bit. So, something to look forward to, I'm sure, for many people that are not fans of playing against Sandwraith, which is this is probably a good amount of players, including myself. So, like to see that one as well. Is there anything? I'm kind of looking through that. I am looking through the list, right? I mean, again, there's a lot more. Again, this was just picked from a couple of them, maybe some more quote unquote important ones that stood out, but there is actually quite a bit that we can expect in the upcoming patch as well of 9.1 there. So there you go, some more insight as far as what is coming with 9.1. Anything else you want to say on that patch to come before we're moving on?
No, stay tuned for the patch notes, review everything. There's obviously a lot of other heroes. These are just some small tidbits picked out of the patch.
Awesome. All right, so I think we can move on to next topic here, which want to bring up a conversation about match quality and progression. This is in the works as well in Discord. If you go to that section there, which again, drawing transparency into what we are actively working on. This is something that definitely has been actively worked on for quite a bit of time now. There's multiple parts to it. So when I say match quality and progression, one of the bigger things that certainly stands out with it is a new player experience of sorts, right? Where that's something we've also referred to at least parts of it as. So again, not going to be coming with 9.1 to be clear, but it is something that's actively being worked on and will come in a sooner than later patch for sure. But just to kind of kick it off from the new player perspective, there are a couple of things. One being unranked will be a requirement. I've talked about the number 100 matches unranked is going to be the requirement initially there. Where what that means, you have to play 100 matches. Now, it can be either Midwars or Force of Caldivar. But then once you've done that, then you are eligible to play for ranked. Obviously there are many games that similar kind of format where you have to ultimately get to a spot to be able to play ranked matches. A couple of reasons for this, but again, for a new player experience, it certainly gives players the opportunity to learn in a more lesser stressful environment, I guess, is a big part of it. But unranked matches, new players will also be restricted to specific heroes that they can choose from in terms of whichever role they are assigned. So if they happen to be a support role, there will be select heroes that'll be that they will be able to choose from, and so on, depending on the role that they are granted right there. And then there is also the slideshow, this info blast, as we're also referring to it as, that'll be taking place as well for new players. And actually, bringing that up, what I am going to do, I'm going to show an example of a preview, I guess, of this info blast initially. That's going to pop up for all players initially, and let alone new accounts that are created, and lead into a bunch of information that you can take in a tutorial, you could safely say. So while I'm doing that, while I'm showing that, if Kawhi, you want to give your insight further into the new player stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people understand that like the game needs to grow. We want to adopt more players. There's many moving complex parts to that. We're going to talk about some of the other things that you guys are probably thinking about, and you know what that is. However, I do want to say, like a very, very important part of being adopted into this game is obviously understanding for us what level you're at, how much guidance do you need through our systems. And so we built some stuff here that intend to explain the core mechanics of the game, the panels. They're tuned based on your familiarity with the product. If you've played HON before, if you played different MOBAs, if you never played a game at all. And this also helps us set, initial assessments for what difficulty of matches to place you against, even though these are unranked matches. And then we continuously evaluate your performance through those to help gauge exactly like what would be a fun experience for you. We know that the new players that are being adopted into the game right now, even not just new players, but even old-time players that haven't played HON in a couple of years, game was shut down, they left, maybe they left early, maybe they played all the way until closure, that it's very difficult to get back into this game because you join up and so many things are different. Like there's no secret shop and all those kinds of things that you kind of just don't expect to have changed because you think it's just going to be the same product. And we have role queues and other things. And then, you get kicked because you're performing poorly while you're just trying to get into the game, and it's not a good experience. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we built all of these things out to help onboard players. I think that's a very, very critical point. Yeah, I think you can take it over, maybe continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, so another part of this, we kind of talked about this earlier. You mentioned when it comes to matchmaking and quality matchmaking, and there's more improvements certainly coming now with disparity and MMR, etc. That is another thing that really I think is important to stress when it comes to the upcoming both new player experience, but also just in general match quality and progression that is to come. Where as a result of that, it'll also have a very positive impact. Ideally, that where players that are qualified for ranked and are playing ranked matches, their matches will significantly improve, right? Because of this requirement now being in place. So it is more than just simply for new players. I think is a big point that we want to get across, and ideally, once this patch does come out with this content, that'll really show when it and execute on. So there is a valid question coming up, and actually, so I do want to bring it to you because out of curiosity, if we have a direct, because I feel like I know, but for current accounts, how will the requirement work if we know that yet, or is that still part of the process of in the works? We're still figuring that part of it out.
No. It is set in stone exactly how it is going to work, and I think existing players are going to very, very minimally be affected. The rule that we'll be going with is when this patch goes live and this stuff goes live, it will be if you have played 50 or more matches, you will be completely exempt from any of these onboarding systems. You will be shown the slides just like any other player. You will be able to select your familiarity, but it will not affect your account status at all. And if you have under 50 matches, you will be required to play whatever it would take to bring you up to that status
Okay.
of unranked matches while retaining the current unranked rating that you would have at the time, and that will then be used for assessment for your ranked rating when you go into ranked when you exit the unranked mode. And for all new players, anyone who hasn't ever touched a game of Reborn once this patch goes in, so if you have absolutely no games at all, the requirements will be 100 matches. And this is a thing that it could change. We could reassess whether this is too much, too little. Um, and of course, there's more to this entire experience to us than just putting people in unranked. There's other things that we're doing. There's for example, we're restricting those accounts to play heroes that match the role that they are assigned. Um, we're also, of course, putting them into tighter balance controls. So we're not putting them against 1900 players. There's the initial assessment when you select what familiarity you have with the product puts you into a lower rater bracket by default if you haven't played a game before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is meant to double both for the existing player base who feels like they sometimes get new players in their matches who have never played a game, and it's frustrating to play with them, and also the other way around where you feel like maybe you have an idea of what Han is, how Han Reborn works, but then you're placed against these 1900 people, even though you're a mid-rated player, and it feels extremely challenging and difficult. These players will also have an indication on their profile that they are a new player for the duration of this time, so that you will be able to see that they are new, help guide them if necessary, and just you will never be second guessing whether they need some assistance on the game or not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. No, that's good insight to add to that as well. So I know again, it's always gonna be one of those things to theory now that it's out or like the more information is out about it, but it's definitely also something I feel like that execution and the action of it will also be telling of how much positive impact it will have. We're confident that it will certainly bring that. So, moving
I also,
on.
yeah,
Yep.
I want to take the time to just answer one of these questions that were
Sure.
in here, and I do want to say that we are actually actively assessing the rating assessment, and the algorithm that we use for rating assessment right now is absolutely by no means final. Um, we actually currently do have, if you do view your profiles, you do actually have a type of league rank symbol. Um, you can be Vanguard or other things. Um, but of course, if we at some point determine that there is a different, better algorithm that we would like to apply, and we are currently investigating these things heavily, we will apply a different rating algorithm, and potentially we might be considering removing MMR public display and introducing rank symbols. And there's obviously many complex things that come with that. What happens on the top of the leaderboard? What happens when you're across a barrier? Is there a rank up mechanism? What happens to new accounts? And um, these are things that we are starting to work on a little bit more now. But the most important thing is not necessarily actually the rating number that you are assigned right now. The biggest problem with the matchmaking algorithm is the matches that we select and consider to be valid. There's just too big of a rating disparity in general, and people are assigned roles that they don't want to play far too often. And I know I kind of am just re-mentioning things that we said earlier, but I see people asking these questions again, and getting your highest priority role more often and having closer, tighter balance on the matches is so much more important than any of these other things, and it's going to improve the match quality by a lot more. And
Mm-hmm.
these are things that we are actively working on right now.
There you go. Speaking of that, guys, we're pretty much at the time of Q&A. I would say there is one more topic though I wanted to just bring up before we really get into that flow there, more with it, and that another hot topic certainly, and something that we've given insight to a bit recently in Discord and through messaging, so to make sure we state it here. Kick vote. Kick vote is being removed. Again, not necessarily in the next patch, but in the very near future here. It is going to be removed. And there in place of it, there is instead going to be a report system. Now, it's not the traditional report. We're still standing by self-moderation, community moderating amongst themselves, with the tools in game, the kick, avoid, or no longer kick, but yeah, avoid, mute, etc. What report will be, it's essentially kind of replacing kick in that sense, where if, you can vote to report somebody, and then if it passes through where the team agrees that enough votes are required, goes through, then penalty points will be applied accordingly after the match. So it won't just kick them from the match, So obviously a big reason why we're going about this method is essentially kick vote as in theory still stand by what is brought in to do, and it never, as far as is it 100% eliminated forever, probably not. We'll see about the future, and perhaps later on what changes could be made to eventually bring it back more appropriately, but it was being used maybe a little bit too much in cases that were abusable, right, and just frankly not meant for what it was supposed to be. So things like the new player experience coming in, and now changing to more of a report function instead, that where the penalty will be applied after the match, no kick action to be had. That will be coming up here. So more to add?
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit too ambitious, I think, with the system, and it's okay. I mean, that happens. I'm sorry for everyone who felt wronged by all the kicks that happens in these games. There's been a lot of unfair kicks. There's also been a lot of justified kicks, for sure. Probably more often than not. But unfortunately, the system as it is right now just does not function well. It is far too big a deterrent, especially to new players, but also to players who just are experimenting, are not performing well in a particular match. There's just too many ways that people get kicked that should not necessarily result in a kick, but maybe some other punishment. We are of course considering other ways of dealing with these problems. I wouldn't necessarily, just like you said, I wouldn't necessarily say that kick is gone forever. But if it ever is reintroduced in some form, it is not a player-driven system. It will be driven through other metrics, where we might determine that we may need to replace this player with a new different player or something similar. It is too punishing to play 4v5. It is almost always resulting in a loss, and it also just feels terrible to the person who is removed from the match anyways. It doesn't feel that much better for the people who are left in the game that still are going to lose anyways. Mm-hmm. Just too many problems with the system. We're not happy with where it is. We're going to try a report system instead. Maybe we haven't gotten it right the first time around. Have a little bit of patience. Give your feedback, post it in general. We're going to read it, we're going to adjust it, and we're going to get this report system better.
Yeah, so again, look forward to that coming in the very near future when it comes to that ultimately taking place, removing kick and having the new report function instead. All right, so yeah, Q&A time. Let's kind of go through fix rigged Plinko. Okay, well that's not really a question, but statement. On that point, again, we've been saying to this is, understand, Plinko itself as far as getting rewards out of it, maybe not the most satisfying. With that said, there is still the marketplace to come, and the storefront even, but the marketplace is going to be coming. That'll help, really loop the whole, what the intention is when it comes to alt avatars and that part of the economy within the game, where, obviously if you try to get an avatar through Plinko, unable to get it, you will have the ability to buy an avatar from a fellow community member. You'll also have the ability, say, duplicate avatars you get, or you get an avatar that you don't want, you will be able to sell it to the community, to somebody else. So that is going to be coming in the marketplace, and that'll help, in theory, fulfill that whole experience right there when it comes to playing Plinko and feeling like maybe you're not getting as much out of it as you should. But I will say, yeah, definitely, when you do win, though, it does feel, extra good. There is that extra dopamine hit, certainly, but at the same time, hopefully at least that clarifies a little bit as far as if you're feeling like you're getting very unlucky with Plinko and what is to come. Oh yeah, Anubis asked this earlier. Looking through, I want to ask a question related to the latest survey. As we discussed after the survey, there's obviously a good portion of player base that appreciate the focus on faster economy. But I think there's evident that it's also a good portion of the player base that appreciate the slower, strategic, punishing gameplay. So, again, to answer that question, yeah, as we did post in the survey feedback, so yeah, if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely recommend it. It's in Discord here. Again, trying to be transparent on all of that. We had a lot of 1,800 plus people that voted in it, or in the surveys, and gave the response, and definitely helped provide even more insight into how the game's looking. And of course, the in-game economy was a big part of that. And as he's referring to, yes, the majority did suggest that as it currently stands, the pacing feels pretty good in terms of when you're obtaining items, just getting gold for killing creeps, heroes, etc. But it leaned more towards the slower side as far as second and third, and combined, was pretty equal to how it currently stands. Point is, yes, we see that. We understand that. We appreciate that. And it's something that is being evaluated, when it comes to the in-game economy, what can be done, what adjustments could be made to, maybe slow it down in certain aspects. Again, unfortunately, we don't have projects here to maybe give more insight on that. But point is, I want to say it's not like, see, neutral 1, or how it stands 1, that we're going to wipe our hands and we're done with that. We're not looking at it ever again. That's not the case. But to that point, when it comes to the survey results, and as we stressed before when we talked about them, survey results are just a piece of the pie, right? It's part of the pie to getting all this feedback. Obviously we have our internal design philosophy as well, and then there's, select others that, we get insight from to ultimately come to these conclusions as far as changes needing to be made. But I can say from my point of view, and talking with Rogix and the team, certainly changes may be coming that'll help, address those concerns that some people do have. What else we got here? Sounds like a ton of BS. I don't know what to say. Okay. Actions speak louder than words, I know, but trying to give you some insight here. Soul Reaper buff soon. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. Well, actually, hold on. Let me. Soul Reaper is getting a change in the patch. It is not a buff, though. So, no. The answer is no. GM team win. Not going to have a GM team. That's not our intention. As we stated, it's no report system in that sense when it comes to GM team. Self-moderation is what we stand by when it comes to code of conduct and philosophy on that front there. So, give it maybe about 5 more minutes here. When is hero pathing around units and obstacles getting fixed together with some single targeting issues, a cursor not recognizing validity of the target? Yeah, do you have insight on that, Quack? Because I know that this is something we've definitely talked a bit about in the past, and so I guess there's 2 parts to that. One being pathing around units and how that maybe feels a little off sometimes, and then the other being single targeting with some items or whatever, being a little difficult to click on certain heroes sometimes.
Yeah, we have both of these. We've looked into them multiple times. I do think I don't know who actually asked the question. Doesn't really matter. We were at I would say a significantly worse spot. We've also been at a significantly better spot. Project Conger, Old Han obviously had pretty good pathing. The source of the problem for the pathing really comes down to scale of the game. And there are some things that we can do to deal with this issue. It is particularly tricky. We don't have any developers working on it at the moment. It is in our backlog. It's going to be picked up. It's just the pathing specifically is very much like an edge case. It's very difficult to attack it because it happens in very weird circumstances when creeps and other units are also trying to move. And that's why it can sometimes feel weird. But I know we applied a couple of fixes to direct pathing and other things not too long ago, and I do think we need probably to take another visit back on the navigation grid and the navigation mesh and how the units are interacting with each other to resolve that problem. It's just as annoying for us as it is for you guys. Um, and the targeting problem, we do have an action plan. There is a written up task. People are going to be working on it probably in the next couple of weeks. So it won't make it into any of these next 2 or 3 upcoming patches. We're looking at a little bit of a higher pace of releases right now than before, but um, I would say, like a month, maybe like 6 weeks out, there's going to be a type of change to the targeting scheme of the cursor, where we're going to be looking into essentially if you're trying to cast an ability on an ally, then enemy units are not valid targets, and heroes are higher priority than creeps. And there's also some other things where if you try to target units very close to their feet, so you're basically targeting around where their circle is, well then you kind of hit the ground first on your raycasts, and it's impossible then for the engine to actually know what you were trying to target. This is particularly annoying, and it'll be fixed with this same change. All of this priority stuff will be much better with that type of mechanic. But we did actually change the way that all of the systems work quite recently to accommodate for the attack move and the smart move, and I'm assuming that those changes are going to help us implement this behavior quite accurately.
Awesome. A couple other questions here. Dosky2284 in Twitch asking about any way to play against bots coming for new players. So a couple of things, not at this time. That is not part of the new player experience that we have yet. Is that something in the future? And obviously, quite you could speak more on that, sure. But I believe in the future, it's definitely a possibility. But with that said, I do recommend watching the VOD on this if you're coming in a little bit later, which sounds like you are, because obviously we did talk about a bit of the match quality and progression that is in the works. If you go to the Discord channel in the works, you can see there as well. Big part of that, the new player experience that's coming with it, which will have a tutorial of sorts with an info blast, and there will be some restrictions that'll help really make for a better new player experience. So that is coming. Anything on the bots, or is that good?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously an ongoing problem. I mean I think we didn't want to attack it at face value because we just risk it being evaded instead. So
To be clear,
we do have some.
I was asking.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I mean, it's good that you bring it because I wasn't actually referring to those bots. I was referring to the possibility of bots to come. But it is good that because obviously that has been a concern as of late. So continue though.
Yeah, I misunderstood the question. That's all good. I do know that some other people asked this question quite recently in the chat as well, and it's we're just not prepared to tackle the issue by just immediately removing the accounts because it'll just be evaded. That's essentially it. We have some changes coming up that will be able to more intelligently avoid this person or these people that are doing this from being able to repeatedly create these accounts and just basically mash down on the leaderboards with these bots. They're extremely frustrating. Yeah, I mean, like, I think Australia specifically has been periodically completely unplayable because of these bots.
Fear TV is asking about any information on tournaments and stuff. We'll want to say on that, of course, we did have the announcement. It's been several months now, back in November, I think it was. The $100,000 tournament that is still the plan, guys. That is still the plan. With that said, obviously, making that announcement, really wanted to make the announcement to kind of commit that point that we are committed to, especially competitive on Reborn and the future of the esports side. And for me personally, obviously that's an exciting endeavor, and I was very thrilled to hear that and understand that. But with that said, the game is still not in a place where it is appropriate just yet to host such an event. So there is no information to give just yet to that point, but we are still committed to it. But there are still plenty of things, including more competitive game mode itself when it comes to like hero picking. We have one in mind that we want to use, but stuff like that needs to be built into the game. Stability in general, etc., all needs to be continue to be improved before at such a place for that. But that is coming. It's just a matter of time though, with more information to come for that. I think a couple more questions, and then we're good. We wanted to definitely try to keep this to about an hour length and hitting the top of the hour right here. So is there one that you see by chance as I'm scrolling through? Want to give answer to? Actually, while you're thinking about that, any thoughts on creating fun polls for upcoming heroes and have the community choose who's next? I'm so glad you brought that up, Kron Bobon. The answer is yes. That is something we potentially want to do. Don't have details on that just yet, but we have discussed that internally, and obviously, yeah, with still quite a bit of heroes to come that we want to patch in. We've also discussed at the beginning of the show, in case you missed it, we are going to be on a much more rapid schedule. As Kawhi put it, looking more about 2 heroes a month pacing, rather than maybe the one before. So yeah, definitely increasing the rapid pacing as far as heroes coming back in Han Reborn from original Han. And the idea of having the community let us know which select heroes. So I will say that if we are to do that, it will be like there'll be like a pool of heroes to choose from, and then see which one you guys want the most out of that. Could be a fun idea. So something like that is definitely to come, I would say. Any plans on adding new game modes? Way back to original Han, all pick, single draft, all random, etc. I mean, I think the easy answer to that is yes, but it's not something to expect in the near future. It's not a higher priority. That is something for later on down the line, certainly, when it comes outside of the competitive game mode that I mentioned just a minute ago. But other game modes, I would not expect to be in, at least in the very near future here. To be clear on that.
Trying to put all of our development efforts and attention towards improving the experience, that is the regular matchmaking experience, onboarding, and all these things. When we feel that experience is at a good state, then there will be room to expand outwards on other things. We have some really cool ideas that I'm not prepared to share right now.
All right, I think that's a good spot though. Good spot to wrap things up here for our very first official Reborn Roundtable, episode 1. Myself, Rick CBK, joined by Kawhi, of course. Kawhi, any last words before we officially wrap this up?
No, it was a pleasure. This will be a returning thing. We'll be doing this. We'll be sharing information about upcoming updates. You'll have your ability to ask and answer some questions here, Q&A, and we'll be talking about the outcome of the previous patches and some things. I think this is a good forum. We're gonna bring back some other faces. It's definitely not gonna be me every single week. We're gonna have some other people. You're gonna get to meet most of the dev team. We're just gonna bring them in every now and then, depending on what makes sense for the upcoming updates.
Love it, guys. And for those that, obviously there's still so many more questions. I see people asking. Again, do our best to address that in Discord as well throughout the day. But definitely looking forward to doing more of these kind of shows as well to help answer questions and keep that transparency going. So on behalf of the Han Reborn team, thanks everyone. Hopefully you have a good weekend. Look out for 9.1 to come out here in the very near future. Master of Arms, as announced earlier, in case you missed it. He will be joining the roster very, very soon as well. So until next time, guys, take it easy.